Mic check, mic check. Shalom, Kratzawan. Can you hear me? Kratzawan.
Shalom. Can you hear me?
Con. I just wanted to make sure I can start, and you can
Okay.
listen in as well.
Kind.
Well, since we're on the backup channel, not too many people is in here, so we just gonna get this thing rolling. So, first and foremost, when we call Halal Yahweh by Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Matter of fact, let me start my camera. Since we on this G thing alone, we got some time. Shalom Yatazak. But might be a quick lesson, might not. You know, I got a few scriptures. I don't know if you got some precepts, but I'm just gonna go with what I got so far. You loud and clear, perfect. So this is just the title, The Vineyard of the Lord. As you know, obviously there's definitely different parables, different analogies, similitudes in the Bible, how it references the Israelites, you know, whether it's the word, the doctrine, you know, what you do, what you say, all that stuff can be compared to, you know, wine, water, you know, trees, fruit, everything like that, vineyards, all that type of stuff, animals per se, everything has a similitude and an analogy and a meaning in the Bible that can be compared to. So in reference to this lesson, I just want to go into the nation of Israel, for the most part, being the vineyard of the Lord, as well as, you know, similitudes in reference to that, and how we're supposed to carry ourselves and, you know, present ourselves to the Most High, as well as the other people, as far as being righteous and things like that. So, you ready? Course on. You got your Bible?
Kind.
Give me Jeremiah 2:21.
Kind. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 21. And it reads, Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed.
Uh-huh.
How
Go
then
ahead.
art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
Yeah, so this is pretty much a basic scripture that we use as far as the breakdown of Romans 11, parable of the wheats, or not the wheats and tares, but the grafting in. The Most High planted the nation of Israel a noble vine. How did he plant a noble vine? Choosing our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, giving them laws, statutes, and commandments, being noble, being righteous, and being and those laws being our wisdom inside of the nation, so to bring us nobility and prominence in the earth by following those particular guidelines. In our onset, which is also referenced as the milk as well, which is our foundation in our heritage of being Israelites. So he planted us a noble vine, but then it says, how then have we returned into the degenerate plant? How do we turn to the degenerate plant? By doing the exact opposite. Going against the grain, serving idols, following heathen customs, all that type of stuff. That's exactly how it happened. But there's a reason for it. Obviously, the Most High ordained it, but, excuse me, that's not the focal point of the particular lesson, because we're going to go to different similitudes, different stories on how it all compares the nation of Israel and our particular, what's the word? Our circumstances, you know, compared to trees, fruits, like I said, things like that. So give me Psalms 80, start at verse 8 and read to 16.
Kind. Let me see.
And like and share the video. We need some more people in here.
The book of Psalms, chapter 80, verse 8 to, you said to 18?
16.
to 16. Book of Psalms, chapter 80, verse 8 to 16. Uh, Thou hast brought a vine out of Egypt.
See, it was
Thou,
brought up. So it's making a comparison. Now it's brought a vine out of Egypt. The vine is the nation of Israel. We came out of Egypt. Go ahead.
thou hast cast out the heathen and planted it.
Cast out what heathen? The Canaanites. We took the Canaanite land. Go ahead.
Thou preparest room before it, and didst cause it to take deep root.
Yeah, cause it take deep root by making it our land, our kingdom. Go ahead.
And it filled the land. The hills were covered with the shadows of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedars.
Yeah, we were in prominence. Go ahead.
She sent out her boughs unto the sea, and her branches unto the river.
Go ahead.
Why hast thou then broken down her hedges?
Read that again, Slide.
Verse 11. She sent out her boughs unto the sea, and her branches unto the river.
Yeah, talking about the land, the boughs and the branches are us, the actual people. He sent us out to these other nations by scattering us. Go ahead.
Verse 11. She sent out, verse 12. Why hast thou then broken down her hedges, so that all they which pass by the way do pluck her?
Exactly. A hedge is like a fence, like a protection gate. The Most High broke down our protection, and it says all they which pass by are pluck at her. That means they have their way with us, so we sin against the Most High. So like a plant without a gate or a fence that's protecting it, people can come by, run it over, step on it, plug it up, so it dies. Because if a plant doesn't have a root or a tree doesn't have a root to connect to, it can't get nutrients, it can't get a water, nourishment to grow more. That's what happened. So the Most High allowed us to be plucked up and scattered for disobeying his word. Read.
Verse 13. The boar out of the wood doth waste it, and the wild beast of the field doth devour it.
Exactly. Return. All the different nations devoured us. Read.
Return, we beseech thee, O God of hosts. Look down from heaven, and behold and visit this vine.
Yeah, visit your vine again. We already know the Most High turned his back on the nation of Israel. It says that in Hosea as well. And this is a psalm of Asaph. So this is a person that's prominent in the Psalms, writing. The psalm is like a song, obviously. So he's writing a song. Return into this vine. Return to the nation of Israel. So he turns back on us due to our wickedness. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And the vineyard which thy right hand hath planted, and the branch that thou madest strong for thyself.
Yep. So we made the Israelites strong for itself as a chosen people. Read.
It is burned with fire.
It's burned with fire. We got destroyed. Whether it's Babylon, Assyria, Greece, Rome, all that type of stuff. That's what happened. We burnt our walls of fire, destroyed our temple, took us out of the land. Read.
It is cut down.
It's cut down.
Perished. They perish at the rebuke of thy countenance.
Exactly. The Most High pronounced judgment on the nation of Israel, northern kingdom first, then the southern kingdom, and we all had to die from it. Not as a whole nation, but enough of us to be taken over, scattered, and conquered by the other heathen nations. And it's all done in the Most High's will, but at the same time, the similitude of us being compared to a vine, a plant, fruit, like I said, it's all going to manifest over the course of this lesson. And obviously, it compares it, like I said, doctrine as well. And we'll get to that soon. So give me Isaiah 5:1 and read the 7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 1 through 7. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard.
Exactly. My well-beloved. He's talking about Israel again. Go ahead.
My well-beloved hath a vineyard in a very fruitful hill.
Exactly. Talking about the land of Israel. Go ahead.
And he fenced it and gathered out the stones.
So yes, it's another word for hedge. He fenced it. He put a hedge around it, protection. Read.
And gathered out the stones thereof.
Made it
and,
basically made the ground smooth so it can grow fruit. Go ahead.
and planted it with the choicest vine,
The best vine, talking about us, the chosen people. Read.
and built a tower in the midst of it, and
Uh huh.
also made a winepress therein.
Read.
And he looked that it should bring forth grapes,
Yeah, it
and it
looked at
brought
it should.
forth.
It looked for it to bring forth grapes. That's what grows on a grape, or something grows on a vine, grapes. But guess what? Read.
And it brought forth wild grapes.
It brought forth wild grapes. Doesn't that sound familiar? The wild olive
Con,
branches, the wild olive tree. That's what
con,
happened. It's a similar parable in Isaiah the 5th chapter. The Most High planted us a noble vine. We turned to it a degenerate plant, a wild olive tree, or a wild grape. That's happens. Like a GMO. Most High didn't ask for that. He asked for the raw, uncut, organic stuff. By his keeping
con,
the laws, statutes, and commandments. That's what's going on in this chapter. Keep reading.
con. Verse 3. And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem
Uh huh.
and men of Judah,
Read.
judge, I pray you,
Uh huh.
betwixt me and my vineyard.
Yeah, between me and my vineyard, my people. Go ahead.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
Yeah, what more else can I have? What more else can I give my people of Israel? I gave you the land. I chose you as my people. I set you on high as a high seed, like I said before. But you took it for granted. That's what it's going to go into. Read.
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it
Uh-huh.
forth wild grapes.
Yeah, I set you up for prosperity. I gave you the law, set your commandments, told you what to do, and then you still turned your back on me. You turned into a wild grape. I didn't plant that seed. The Most High planted a noble seed, but we grew up as a degenerate plant, wild grapes. The Most High had to take down the fence, the hedges, and allow us to get burned and scattered. Go ahead. It's gonna say the same thing here.
Verse 5. And now go to, I tell you. Oh, slot. And now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do to this vineyard, my own people. Go ahead.
I will take away the hedge thereof.
I'm gonna take away the hedge. Same thing he said in what was it, Jeremiah? Yeah, or not Jeremiah, Salak. Psalms 80.
Psalm.
Go ahead.
Con. And it shall be eaten up.
It's gonna be eaten up. I'm gonna take away the protection. It's gonna be eaten up. That's just like somebody break the window of a store and people just ransack it. That's what's happening. People gonna take what they want when they want because there's no protection. The Most High allowed it to happen for it's going off. Read.
And break down the wall thereof.
And
it shall be trodden down.
All talking about the nation of Israel. Comparing us to a vine, a field of vines. It's supposed to be growing perfect, good grapes, but produce wild grapes for it's going off, being sinful. So he allows us to be conquered by other nations, taken out the land, and the Most High didn't protect us. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned,
It's
nor
not going to be
digged.
pruned. Pruned is like what? You go to like a grapevine. You go to a grapevine, you pluck off the excess trimmings, like the extra leaves that you don't need, to show the grapes fully, make it look good. Go ahead.
Nor digged.
But
there shall come up briars and thorns.
Gonna come up briars and thorns, things that don't belong. A thorn can prick your finger, all that type of stuff. It's not a good thing to have thorns with your fruit. It's gonna get in the way of the production and the quality of the vine or the fruit that you're trying to bear. Go ahead.
I would also command the clouds that they rain no more upon it. Ooh.
Exactly. We're not gonna be taken care of. We're not gonna be nourished. We're not gonna be given that protection. Like I said, it all comes with following the law, statutes, and commandments. But it's making it similar to our analogy about us being compared to a vineyard, being nourished with water, being protected with a hedge, and being trimmed. Like you said, what it say? Should not be pruned or digged. It's not gonna have any depth to the roots. It's not gonna have that good look, that perfect look. Go ahead.
God, I wanted to ask, would that also be a you can also make that comparison with the rain, of course, being the living waters, of course, right? Like him taking away what was that in Isaiah? That one scripture in Isaiah where he said he's going to take away our teachers. Like the time that he took away our teachers from us, was that him taking away them living waters, or that rain at that time? I would say.
It doesn't necessarily say living waters here, but you can say that because, like I said, if we're not following the laws, this is what Isaiah 5. I mean, this is actually before the Syria, so it's actually in the same chapter.
Okay. Kind of.
Yeah, it is in the same chapter, actually. Let me see. Oh, no, it's Isaiah 10. I'm thinking of Isaiah 10. So, yeah, this before that, but he's basically prophesying it's going to happen because obviously it did happen. But, yeah, I wouldn't say he took away the laws from us, but it's just talking about us being, in a prominent position, getting proper teachings, because obviously us starting to go off is it's not keeping the laws of God. So it's just saying we're not going to prosper pretty much.
Kind of. Verse 7. For the vineyard of Yahweh of hosts is the house of Israel.
Is what?
Is the house of Israel.
And who else?
And the men of Judah, his
so that's how you know.
Plant.
The Most High's vineyard is the northern and southern kingdom. Period. Go ahead.
And he looked for judgment.
He looked for judgment, meaning what? He looked for righteousness, people to uphold the laws, dictate the law, do sacrifices, things like that, keep everything holy, treat people accordingly. But guess what? Read.
But behold, oppression.
Same thing going on right now. The Most High planted us a vine still in America. Northern Kingdom came over here. We're doing it for a little bit, went off, got conquered. Southern Kingdom was in West Africa, got conquered, came over to the Americas again. Both of them were oppressed together, as it says in Jeremiah 50. And now what? We're both being oppressed to this day. Still the same vine, but we're still wild grapes too. Read.
For righteousness, but behold, a cry.
Behold, a cry. So it's not a pleasant a song in the Psalms that we're singing. We're crying to the Most High, like, man, why are we going through this affliction? What's going on? But we already know what's going on with those that are in the truth. We strayed away from the laws of God, not upholding our end of the bargain in the covenant. And now we over here behind enemy lines doing through the motions, working for slave wages for the most part. But hey, there's an opportunity to be that noble vine again. We're going to get some precepts on that too. Give me Ezekiel 19 and 10 and read to 14. Good. We'll get some precepts on that as well. But that's the main thing. The house of Israel and the men of Judah, men and women obviously are the vineyard of the Most High. Men and women were scattered. Men and women was taken into captivity, oppressed, killed, raped, robbed, murdered, everything under the sun. Obviously, the men are leaders, so we the ones that got the abrupt punishment as far as being the people that went off first, and obviously guiding our women to do the same. Go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 19, verse 10 through 14, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 4. Kind. Thy mother is like a vine in thy blood, planted by the waters.
Planted by the waters. The waters is in reference to the word in this time, read.
She was fruitful and full of branches by season. Oh, by reason.
It was fruitful and planted, or excuse me, let me go to it. Matter of fact, let me pull it up on the screen.
Come.
What is it? Ezekiel
19 and 10.
19. I don't want y'all to see our faces all night. You gotta follow along. Here we go. All right, go ahead.
From the top. Thy mother is like a vine in thy blood,
Read.
planted by the waters.
Go ahead.
She was fruitful and full of branches by reason of many waters.
Exactly, by reason of many waters. All the information that was, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Go ahead.
And she had strong rods for the scepters of them that bear rule.
Talking about us being a kingdom along with above the other kingdoms. Read.
And her stature was exalted among the thick branches.
Mm-hmm.
And she appeared in her height with the multitude of her branches.
Exactly. All of us being righteous at the same time. Go ahead.
But she was plucked up in fury.
The Israelites were plucked up in fury for disobeying the Most High. Read.
She was cast down to the ground. And the east wind dried up her fruit.
Yeah, the east wind dried up her fruit. Talking about us getting taken out of power. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Her strong rods were broken and withered.
Her strong rods were broken and withered. We got weak for breaking the laws of God. We couldn't protect ourselves to defend the kingdom. Read.
The fire consumed them.
The fire consumed us. Us being taken out of the land, our temple being burnt down, our walls being broken. It's all type of what's it called? The spoils of war, technically. We got taken out of the land and got beat down to a pulp. And it's going to explain. Read.
Verse 13. And now she is planted in the wilderness.
Yeah, we're planted in the wilderness, in a foreign land, whether it's America, whether it's North and South America, Europe, Africa, somewhere, Philippines. We're all over the world. Everywhere it is, like we're scattered, we're in the wilderness because it's not our homeland. Read.
In a dry and thirsty ground.
Exactly, in the dry and thirsty ground. We don't have laws, statutes, and commandments, don't know who we are. So guess what? We're thirsting for that knowledge. And if you're thirsting for knowledge, hey, who are you going to get it from? Besides the Holy Spirit being dropped in you, leading you in the right path for finding out what's going on. Everybody don't have the internet, but at the same time, those might be the people that are going to hear the fame when your house shot comes back. But as of right now, they're playing in the wilderness, in the dry and thirsty ground, not knowing what's going on, wondering why they're oppressed in every land. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And fire is gone out of a rod of her branches, which have devoured her fruit.
Which have devoured her fruit. Talking about us. Read.
So that she have no strong rod to be a scepter to rule.
Yeah, talking about our people. Go ahead.
This is a lamentation. It shall be for a lamentation.
Exactly. So, lamentation is similar to mourning. This is a mourning, and it shall be for mourning. Because we've been consumed, taken out of our land, scattered abroad, beat down, all for sinning against the Most High. And that's the current condition right now. So what's it gonna take for us to get back? We should know that. It's a very simple answer. Give me Hosea 10 and 1 to 3.
Actually, let me get there first. The book of Hosea, chapter 10, verse 1 to 3. Israel is an empty vine.
Israel is an empty vine. Read.
He bringeth forth fruit unto himself.
So let me pull this up. I'm still in there. Hosea 10. See, everything I'm pulling out is obviously making a similitude between Israel and a vine, fruit, trees, all that type of stuff, because that's who we are in the spirit. Like I said, we're compared to the Most High's choice vine, and it's going to explain in a couple precepts. Go ahead.
According to the multitude of his fruit, he hath increased the altars.
Talking about the Most High increasing us in reference to our prominence. Obviously the sacrifices is considered, or not a sacrifice, but the temple is considered an altar that we make sacrifices on. But it's talking about the people for the most part. Go ahead.
According to the goodness of his land, they have made goodly images.
Go ahead.
Their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty.
Exactly. Our heart is divided, meaning what? We're not keeping the laws of God. We want to follow the heathen. That's what we did in Greece. That's what we did in Judges, causing us to go off and get conquered, crying to the Most High to save us. But hey, we're gonna be found faulty because we're sinning at this point. Go ahead.
Now he shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. Verse 3.
Oh, Salakia. This is talking about idolatry, Salakia. I'm reading it again. Israel's an empty. Okay, yeah. This is talking about idolatry. So the multitude of his fruit, talking about our works, he have increased the altars, talking about the idolatry that we was doing. Mainly the tribe of Dan, because there was multiple altars in Dan that everybody went up to the worship at Northern Kingdom. That's the main reason why they got diminished so much. But keep reading, Salakia.
Verse 3. For now they shall say, we have no king.
Hold on, read verse 2 again.
Verse 2 from the top. Their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty.
We're going to be found faulty because we serving idols. Read.
He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images.
Exactly. All the altars we built, all the statues, whatever the case may be, this day and age, what can we compare it to? The cross, any type of horoscope, rings and things like that people get tattoos of. It's ridiculous. It don't mean a damn thing. It has nothing to do with the Most High. Read.
Verse 3. For now they shall say, we have no king, because we fear not Yahweh.
Exactly. We fear not the Most High. Northern Kingdom didn't have a king, obviously, at this time, especially at Assyria. They say Hosea was a king, but he was a prophet at the time, so he was a prominent figure. That's why they call him the king in, I think, Second Esdras. But we didn't have a king because it was obviously the David's lineage was promised a kingship in Judah. And obviously we were supposed to be a United Kingdom at the time, but Hosea, this is, I think, right before we got scattered as far as Assyria captivity. So he's prophesying to Northern Kingdom. Go ahead.
What then should a king do to us?
Exactly. What's the kingdom do to us? We don't have no person that's going to tell us right or wrong. Just like in Jezreel, we did right. We did whatever it was right in our own eyes. And if we doing that, we really into our understanding. And that leads to sin as well, because we're going to do what we feel like doing instead of following the laws of God. And that's what happened. But give me Ezekiel 14, 5 and 6. Oops. Go ahead.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 14, verse 5 through 6. That I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols.
Yeah, we're all estranged. We're wild grapes through our idols, serving other gods. Or we don't, the Most High don't know who we are. He don't recognize us because we're not the people that he esteemed to be noble and that he planned to be a regular grape, So we're all estranged to the Most High. The Most High don't recognize us. He's going to turn his back on us. He's going to walk right by us. He's not going to protect people he don't recognize, right? That's what happens. Go ahead.
Verse 6. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God, repent and turn yourselves from your idols.
Exactly. That's what we got to do every day. Repent and return from our idols. Everybody in the truth don't necessarily serve idols, but our people as a whole have no problem doing it. Serving white Jesus, celebrities, anybody that's not the Most High that you serving and holding in high esteem is an idol. Turn away from your idol because you following after their footsteps, not following after the Most High, or who the Most High sent, who the world calls Christ. How shall I read?
And turn away your faces from all your abominations.
Exactly. Turn your faces from all your abominations. Give me Matthew 3 and Matthew 13. Matthew 13 and 3.
The book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow.
Yeah, sower went forth to sow, talking about somebody that's going to actual field, like a farmer. Read.
Verse 4. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside.
Exactly. It's talking about a parable, obviously. Yahweh is going to explain it, but I'm just going to have you read. Read.
And the fowls came and devoured them up. Verse 5. Some fell upon stony places.
Go ahead.
Where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth.
Go ahead.
And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away.
Exactly. Read on.
Verse.
Read all the way to 23.
Verse 7. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8. The other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some an hundredfold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold.
Go ahead.
Who hath ears to hear? Let him hear.
Go ahead.
And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables?
Why
He,
speaking to us in parables? Read.
he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
Yeah, talking about the disciples at the time. They were supposed to understand the parables because they were the ones that was right next to Yahushua as he walked. Everybody else has the multitude, and obviously people that even the Pharisees didn't really understand. But the Most High sent Yahushua to teach the people parables because there's obviously a spiritual connotation to it. Us being the vineyard, us being seeds that's supposed to be planted in righteousness, but turned to a degenerate plant. It's talking about us as a people. So everything in the Old Testament, Yahushua gave you a plain parable through agriculture, showing that we're the same people at a vineyard that the Most High chose that basically went astray, turned into a wild grape. Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Some people did take hold, but like you said, but go ahead. It's going to explain.
For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance.
Read.
But whosoever hath not, for him shall be taken away, even that he hath.
Everything that somebody has is going to be taken away because what? He didn't want to partake and take heed to the Most High's word. That's what's happening. Whoever wants to take heed to the Most High's word, the blessing's going to come to him first. Read.
Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see not.
Yeah, they sing, but they don't see spiritually. Go ahead.
And hearing, they hear not. Neither do they understand.
Yeah, they don't understand the spiritual things. That's what Paul was referencing. The man is in the carnal state of mind. He can't understand spiritual things. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah.
Read.
Which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand. And seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive.
You're not going to understand what's going on. Yahushua is using the same prophecies that Isaiah was referencing, because it's a different time frame, a different captivity, different crowd for the most part. And he's giving the same prophecy that this is the same spiritual, same Holy Spirit that's dealing with Yahushua at this point in time, giving the breakdowns, giving the allegory and the parables, and you're not going to get it still because the Most High don't want you to get it. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Read.
Verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross. And their ears are dull of hearing.
Their ears are dull of hearing. They can't hear straight. They don't know what's going on. Go ahead.
And their eyes they have closed. Lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and should understand with their heart.
Read.
And should be converted, and I should heal them.
Exactly. So if the Most High wanted us to get it, hear it, understand it, cherish it, take it in, to internalize it, and be converted, being converted back to the laws of God, back to our true heritage, we would have been healed. We would have come out of that captivity. But the Most High already knew that 2/3 had to be destroyed. 2/3 are going to be, taken out of the land. Obviously, this is before 70 AD, Yahushua's time. But there is going to come a time when this is going to happen, where people are going to listen, hear, understand, internalize it, convert from their wickedness back to righteousness, and the Most High going to hear them spiritually until we get out of this place called Babylon the Great, or wherever other place Israelites that are waking up that are scattered to, they're going to get healed. And that's why it says, the truth shall make you free. It's not necessarily free from bondage and captivity you're in, but it's free mentally and spiritually, living for the Most High at that point. Because you know what's going to happen due to the prophecies. Go ahead.
Verse 16. But blessed are your ears, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
Read.
For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them.
Go ahead.
And to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them.
Exactly. The prophets prophesied about this stuff, 500-600 years before Yahushua came. about the basically bearing good fruits, being a proper grape, not a wild grape, things like that. Isaiah and Ezekiel and Jeremiah reference all those things in a spiritual sense, but Yahushua gave it in a plain sense as far as what we're supposed to be, basically what we're supposed to be taking hold of as the seed planted in soil. Go ahead.
Con. Verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower.
Uh huh.
When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one
Uh huh.
and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart.
Exactly. So he's explaining the breakdown. Somebody planted a seed. You got basically, what did it say earlier? It's a lot. Some fell upon stony places. Stony places, what? It could be It can be comparable to your hard-headed mind and thought process, or like I said, might be a lack of concentration. Somebody come by, distract you. You just walk away. You see a fine chick or whatever the case may be. Some people get distracted for the simple things. They think they got a important phone call or a meeting or get some food or a dinner arrangement. Like, all that stuff is a distraction. The Most High call you to hear the word and you resonate with it. Don't get distracted by nothing. That's why it says it was taken away and basically whatever was sown in his heart, because it didn't take root yet. Go ahead.
Con. Verse 19. Oh, actually, yeah, verse 19 from the top again. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside.
Slide. Yeah, go ahead. Keep reading.
But he that received
the stony one, but go ahead. So explain. It's the same thing I said. Go ahead.
But he that received the seed into stony places, the same as he that heareth the word and anon with joy receiveth it.
Yeah, he received it. He was happy about it. Like, man, this makes sense. Go ahead.
Con. Yet hath he not root in himself,
Mm-hmm.
but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended.
Exactly. Ever since I came into this truth, it's been hell for me. But that's why the Most High says you gotta be chastised, and the little chastisement shows that he loves you as a son. But at the same time, he got to try you by fire. Make sure you in this thing for the long run, 10 toes down, taking deep root, like it says. You didn't have root within yourself, but you enjoyed the information. But you're like, man, this ain't it. Like I'm getting made fun of. People tell me I'm a future terrorist. Like people saying I'm blaspheming. Like I don't want to be scolded. I don't want to be scoffed at. I don't want to be made fun of. I don't want to be told I'm bugging out. But that's what happens, because Yahushua said it himself. You're going to be hated by the world for my namesake, period. Everybody loves a Christian. So what are they getting scolded about? What are they going to be hated for? The Muslims overseas might hate them, but that's not what it's talking about. But at the same time, us telling the true gospel of the Most High, which is what Yahushua referenced in Luke 4, Isaiah 61, we won't get that at the end, but it's just referencing people that hear the word, take hold of it, enjoy it, but then they get made fun of, and then like, man, I don't want to be made fun of no more. Let me just go back to the world and just do what I was doing. Keep reading.
Verse 22. He also that received seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful.
Yeah, become unfruitful, because why? You can't go into the world and live righteously for the most part. You can't rub shoulders with unrighteous people and try to get ahead like they do without breaking the law of some sort. So you might as well just, hey, I'm just going to get rid of this. It's easy just to do what I want to do and look cool for the world and all that type of stuff. But guess what? That's why you're unfruitful. You're not fit for the kingdom. He's going to choke the word out of you, because you can't worship, what does it say, Matthew 6, you can't serve God and mammon. You care for the world too much. It says whoever is a friend of the world has enmity with the Most High. You can't love the Most High and be in the world. It doesn't make sense, because you're gonna think of the world. Everybody in the world is an abomination, not necessarily food wise, but just their actions and how they think. That's why you're unfruitful. Go ahead.
Verse 23. But he that receives seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also bear fruit and bringeth forth some in hundredfold, some 60, some 30.
Exactly. So it's making another similitude to something being planted in the ground, bringing forth good fruit, which is what we're supposed to be doing at this time. So somebody comes by, hears the word, understands it, and then goes it out and teaches other people the same information, which is what we do: teach people the law, statutes, and commandments. That they are Israelites who are scattered, obviously, four corners of the earth. But on this, on this side of the world, the so-called Black and Hispanic Native Americans are the Israelites, and people that understand it, take hold of it, they bring forth fruit, which means they bring forth more people into this walk, so they can understand it, and obviously raise up the nation of Israel, as it says in Ezekiel 37, as that exceedingly great army, putting flesh on our people's bones. So that's pretty much the parable that Yahushua broke down, and it's perfect to this lesson because we're still the vineyard of the Lord, and that's we want to bring forth good fruit as that righteous vineyard. Go ahead, give me Isaiah 59:1. Damn, did I want all this? Hold on, let me see. I don't think I wanted this whole. Damn, I got the whole chapter written down. That don't make sense. Nah, I just want 1 and 2.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 59, verse 1 through 2. Behold, Yahweh's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear.
Read.
But your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sin.
Our iniquities separated us from the Most High, because that's what was promised to us if we broke the laws of God. The Most High don't want to protect us, put a hedge around us. He gonna have us go off, and then obviously now we're, I said, generation upon generation behind enemy lines, going through affliction. Read.
God, and your sins have hid his face from you, that he will not hear.
Exactly. So he's not going to hear us for those exact same reasons. He's not going to protect us. He's not going to water us. He's not going to give us the word, unless obviously he feels like it, certain select people. But as a nation as a whole, we've all had him turn away from us by our sins. Give me that's the end of it.
God.
Hosea 5:15, which is similar concept.
The book of Hosea, chapter 5, verse 15. I will go and return to my place.
Read.
Till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face.
Till they acknowledge our offense, period. We gotta tell ourselves that we went off, remind everybody else that we went off that's in the know, even people that's not in the know, to hey, we in this predicament for a purpose. We've been in America so long, so far removed from our culture and heritage that people don't think eating pork is in or shrimp, crab, and lobster because it's so commonplace. It's the most abominable foods that the Most High can write in the book. But we think it's so commonplace that it's good, and we can put seasoning on it, put it in pasta, put it in, all type of sandwiches. Like, nah, like it's still an abomination, period. I don't care what you put on it. The Most High said so. And let God be true and every man lie, period. So the Most High can return to his place to acknowledge our offenses, starting with what we eat, starting with how we treat each other, starting with the most basic of sins, getting lineups, all the way to the most egregious sins, adultery, things like that, breaking the Sabbath, not keeping the high holy days or Sabbaths. Those are all things that need to be corrected. So until we acknowledge that, we're going to be in this predicament as the, like I said, the wild grapes, the wild olive tree, and the Most High not going to recognize or protect us at the time. Is that it?
I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face in their affliction. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
Most High going to have us. We're going to be seeking the Most High early because we're going through so much hell. I was listening to something earlier. I forgot what I was listening to. I might have been on Clubhouse. This dude was like, "Where was God when we were in slavery? Where was God? It was a TikTok video that somebody posted. Dude was like, where was God in slavery? Where was Jesus in slavery? I'm like, bro, you don't know the Bible. Why did they use the
Right.
Bible? Why did they use the Bible to enforce slavery? I'm like, they didn't use the Bible at all. They just read verses to make us believe that's what the Bible was talking about. But if it
Con.
was in the spirit, which we weren't at the time, we were in slavery, we weren't allowed to read. But now that we know, like, we can read the same book, Romans 13. Like, bro, it's not talking about what you're talking about. Servants obey your masters. No, it's not talking about no slave master. It's talking about somebody that's in authority over you in your congregation, something like that.
Right.
Is that it?
Con.
Give me Matthew 7:13-23.
Con. The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13 to 23.
Uh-huh.
And it reads, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
Exactly.
And,
Perfect
and
scripture.
many.
Wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction. Read.
Okay. And many there be which go in thereat.
Doesn't that sound like a Christian church? There's billions of Christians on the earth, whether it's Protestant, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Baptist, Protestant, good old Mormons. It don't matter what sect they're in. Everybody believes in similar. Jesus says everybody can be saved for the most part. Maybe not Catholics so much because they believe in people that they elect are going to be saved. But it's the same thing. They all love each other. It's all lovey-dovey, fake smiles and energy. Like, that don't mean nothing to the Most High. Why is it going to go that leads to destruction? Many to be that find it. There's going to be a lot of people that say, Lord, Lord, we prophets in your name, just like he says in but it's the same context. Like, I don't want to jump the gun. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into light. Into light. And few there be that find it.
Exactly. Few there be that find the actual light. That take the seed of that the righteous person sows in you, understands it, and brings forth fruit 160 or 30. That's what we're trying to do. Be the select few that take this word, run with it, cherish it, and teach other people to bring forth the fruit. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Go ahead.
Ye shall know them by their fruits.
You don't know them by their fruits, by what they do, what they say, how they act. Go ahead.
Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit.
Every good tree brings forth good fruit. That good fruit is your works, what you do, which is mainly keeping the laws of God, teaching other people to do the same, as it is commanded. Read.
But a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Verse 18. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit.
A good tree can't bring forth a good tree can't bring forth evil fruit. It's oxymoronic because you're already good. You're gonna manifest what you internalize, whether it's righteousness or wickedness. Read.
Neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit.
Exactly. You're gonna walk out what's in your heart, what's in your spirit. Keep reading.
Salakia, 1 minute.
All right.
9777. Retarded ass mobile. All right. Verse 19. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire.
Exactly. What's that talking about? Talking about a person getting thrown into the lake of fire. That's what fire is talking about. The second death. Read.
Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. Verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say earlier. I was going to jump the gun, but yeah, I said it. All these Christians that say, Lord, Lord, they're not going to get into the kingdom of heaven. Read.
But he that doeth the will of my Father, which is in heaven.
Exactly. That's who's going to get into heaven People that do the will of his Father. What's the will of his Father? Psalms 40:8, the laws of God. Period. Read.
Kind. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And
Mm-hmm.
in thy name have cast out devils?
Read.
And in thy name done many wonderful works?
Yeah, and many wonderful works in the Christian church, healing people. They think, singing to the Lord, all the songs, giving out food drives, you know, holding events and what's it called? What's it called? Where you like a retreat, those type of things, traveling and ministering to people and all that type of stuff. It's just feel
Oh
good
yeah,
stuff. It don't mean a damn thing. What was you saying?
kind. Oh no, I was just adding on to what you were saying. I didn't have nothing to say.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
Exactly. Yeah, I was trying to say I never knew you. You didn't do the will of my Father. You can do all that stuff saying you doing it in my name, but I don't know you because you didn't do what my Father told the nation of Israel to do, which is keep the laws of God. You that work iniquity. Iniquity is sin. When you read this in the NLT, it makes it very plain. Let's just read that real quick.
Kind. You said reread that?
In the NLT,
Oh, you said read it
I
in the
got it.
NLT? Oh, okay, kind.
Yeah, I got it. If you don't, yeah, I got it. Matthew 7:23 in the NLT. But I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's laws. So you can do everything you want to do, saying you're doing it for who the world calls Christ, especially as Israelites. Christians that aren't Israelites, I mean, they're already finished, but that's what he's talking about. I don't know you because you broke God's laws while you were doing it. It don't mean nothing. That's not the righteous fruit that Yahweh wants people to work or implement. That's why the Israelites got to know who they are and know that the law is important. Go ahead. Or to me, that's it. Give me 2 Ezra 5:23-24.
Kind. The book of, let me see, 2nd Ezra, chapter 5, verse 23 to 24. And it reads, and said, O Lord, that beareth rule of every wood on the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen thee one only vine.
Exactly. Most High said he chose one vine. Let me pull that up, actually. I got it in my, assuming not on the screen, but I'm going to pull it up in a second. 5. Oh, here we go. Read it again.
Con. And said, O Lord, that beareth rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou
Uh-huh.
hast chosen me one only vine.
Exactly. One only vine. Who's that vine? The nation of Israel. He made everybody else. They compared to trees and everything like that, but the Most High chose one vine, talking about the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit.
One pit, talking about what? Jerusalem, the land of Israel. Read.
And of all the flowers thereof, one lily.
One lily, his favorite flower, the lily, known as quote unquote Star of David, but it's really just a lily, pomegranate. That's it. So let's get Sirach 24:25,
Kind. The
and then
book of
read
Sirach,
to 25-31.
the book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 25 to 30, verses 25 to 31. Verse 25. He filleth all things with his wisdom, as Physon and as Tigris in the time of the new fruits.
Yeah, talking about water. He filled up wisdom like water in the time of new fruit. So he's going to give them all the water they need to be to flourish and basically be prosperous. Go ahead.
He maketh the understanding to abound like Euphrates,
Uh huh.
and as Jordan in the time of the harvest.
Exactly. Talking about the wisdom. He's going to give us enough wisdom to sustain ourselves and show forth that wisdom in the form of water. Go ahead.
Verse 27. He maketh the doctrine of knowledge appear as the light,
Uh-huh.
and as Gion in the time of vintage.
Go ahead.
The first man knew her not perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
No more shall the last find her out.
Talking about he's not going to have the full understanding. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
Hold on, where you at?
20,
Oh, yeah, keep reading the slide.
Verse 29. For her thoughts are more than the sea.
Read.
And her counsels profounder than the great deep.
Exactly. There's more wisdom than the depths of the seas. Read.
Come. Verse 30. I also came out as a brook from a river.
Exactly. So I broke off from the river, came into a brook. A brook is like a smaller, I don't want to say it's a smaller river, but it's like a smaller body of water. Go ahead.
Kind. I said, I also came out as a brook from a river, and as a conduit into a garden.
As a conduit into a garden. So let me let's look at that word. Conduit. Let's see what conduit. Let me share my screen for this one. As a conduit. Let's see what that means. Because it goes right on with my lesson. Conduit, a channel for conveying water or other fluid. That's what it's referencing. Like basically something that's flowing to a garden. That's what it's talking about. Something that's like a straw. When you sip a straw, like with you have a cup of water, you can either take the cup and tilt it, or you can just put a straw in it and sip it through a straw. That's the straw is the conduit for access to your to drink. Go ahead.
Kind. Verse 31. I said, I will water my best garden and will water abundantly. I will water my best garden.
Most High say you'll water his best garden. His best garden, obviously, the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
And will water abundantly my garden bed.
Exactly. I'm going to water it abundantly. I'm going to give it all the wisdom. That's what it's comparing it to. He's going to give the nation of Israel all the wisdom it needs. Go ahead.
And lo, my brook became a river, and my river became a sea.
Exactly. My brook became a river, my river became a sea. That's what it's talking about. So we're supposed to be overflow with his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as his best garden, as the holy and right seed that he planted. But that's why it says, I don't have it on here actually. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's talking about where is it at? Proverbs. Proverbs 15. Is that it? Or is it Proverbs? Oh, it is Proverbs 5. I was just thinking that. Proverbs 5 and 15. I can read it real quick. Proverbs 5 and 15. Drink waters out of thine own cistern and running waters out of thy own well. So the Most High poured into us the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, but we took knowledge from other people. We took the waters from other people. We weren't watered appropriately, and it wasn't overflowing, and then turn our brook into a river, and river into a brook, brook into a river, and a river into a sea. It went backwards. We got dried up, like it says. Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets. Exactly. So we're supposed to pronounce and be a light to the other people of Israel, letting our waters, referencing the laws of God, the wisdom of God, basically overflow into their particular garden beds, if you want to call it that. Let them only be thine own and not strangers with thee. So don't get a stranger's wisdom and knowledge, or don't take knowledge from them. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of our youth. The wife of thy youth, talking about the knowledge as well. You get that in Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 2. The wife of our youth is wisdom and knowledge. And where is it at? I wanted to get a particular verse. Is this it? No, this isn't it. Is my screen sharing? I'm not even sharing the screen. Oh well. Let me see. It's all good. I want to pull up this verse anyway. You had something?
Nah, I don't got anything right now.
Okay. Where is it at? I thought it was in this chapter. Let me see. It's not a problem. I don't know. I can't find it right now. Give me what did you just read? Sirach?
I just read.
Okay, give me Leviticus 19 and 19.
Let me pull it up real quick. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 19. And it reads, ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind.
Talking about blending cattle like a liger or some madness like that. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
Yeah, don't sow your field with mingled seed. It's a plain concept. Don't put all these different type of seeds in on one soil. Similar to us. Don't mix and mingle with these other nations because they don't bear the same fruit as us. It's a pretty simple concept. That's it, right?
Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Exactly. Don't wear mixed fabric. Don't gender diverse cattle. Don't blend your seed in one place. Let me just put all these on one screen slide. Give me 1 second. Give me Jeremiah 2 and 21.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. Let me get there real quick, slide. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed.
Mm-hmm.
How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me?
Exactly. Matter of fact, I read that already. That's the first one I read. Salaki. I don't know why I got that again. Give me Isaiah 5 and 1. When did I read that too? Salaki. I don't know. I got that same one twice. Salaki. Give me Job 8 and 11.
Let me see.
And read to 20.
The book of Job, chapter 8, verse 11 through 20. Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water?
Can a flag grow without water? I'm going to read it in NLT real quick. It says, can papyrus reeds grow tall without a marsh? Can marsh grass flourish without water? So it's making another comparison to plant life being watered and nourished. Read.
Verse 9. I said verse 9. I'm tripping. Verse 12. Whilst it is yet in his greenness and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb.
Exactly. While it's basically being nourished at one time, it withered before any other herb, any other tree. That's what's referencing. The nation of Israel withered for disobeying the Most High. So while we was growing up, being nourished, like I said, the Most High watered us, but we wanted to go off and turn away from being nourished, having a broken cistern, pretty much. And the Most High dried out our roots, and we got withered before the nations. Read.
Verse 13. So are the paths of all that forget God.
So, what?
So are the paths of all that forget God.
So, yeah, the nation of Israel forgot God, and guess what? He didn't water us no more. He didn't nourish us no more. He turned his back on us. That's what it's talking about. Read.
Come. And the hypocrites' hope shall perish.
Exactly. So that's why it says earlier, I believe, I forgot what we read, basically where it says we had a divided heart, essentially. We didn't know which direction to go, but since we already had a divided heart, we just went our own way and did our own thing, follow after the heathens. Keep reading.
God, verse 14. Whose hope shall be whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web.
Exactly. Your trust gonna be a spider's web. You're gonna get caught up. You're not gonna have a plain path to walk on. That's what it's referencing. Go ahead.
He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand.
Exactly. You're gonna try to get comfort and try to get some stability, and that house not gonna stand. You don't have a solid foundation no more. The Most High not protecting that house either. Go ahead.
Verse actually, never mind. Verse 15 from the top again. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. He shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure.
Go ahead.
Verse 16. He is green before the sun, and his branch shooteth forth in his garden.
Exactly. The Most High is making a comparison. Let me read it in the NLT. The godless seem like a lush plant growing in the sunshine, his branches spreading across the garden. So it makes it seem like it's growing before the sun, because that's how plants grow. Water it, the roots are in the ground, and the sun obviously makes it reach up to the sun, so it grows. But keep reading.
Verse 17. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seeth the place of stones.
Exactly. So it might have roots, but it doesn't have the roots in the solid foundation of the actual soil. It's talking about your roots are around rocks. It's not a solid foundation. It can't go through a rock and be healthy. Read.
Verse 18. If he destroy him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee.
Exactly. Like it's never existed. That's what it's talking about. So when you go, when the roots don't take place and you got to take it up or take the plant out, it's going to be like it never was there, just like the nation of Israel. We grew up in the nation of Israel as far as our landmass, Jerusalem. Most High took us out, and it's like we were never there. Now the white folks got our identity, and they running the earth essentially. Everybody thinks they're the Jews. That's exactly what Job is referring to. Keep going.
Verse 19. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow.
Exactly. When you read the NLT, it makes perfect sense. It says that's the end of its life, and others spring up from the earth to replace it. Exactly what it's talking about. We were in Jerusalem. The Most High kicked us out for our wickedness. Now everybody else is living there, perpetrating the fraud, thinking they're the people of that land, while we're scattered abroad, not having no foundation. And it says, I think we read earlier, how we're in the wilderness, thirsting for water. That's what it said. That's what we're doing right now. The same thing. The Bible isn't that complex, even though there's definitely certain prophecies that are complex, but it makes it plain as far as the parables, the similitudes, things like that. Job talks about it. Jeremiah talks about it. Isaiah, Yahushua. It's all similar concepts. Us being the fruit, so we planted in our land, but we got taken out, no hedge about us. All that stuff plays a role. Us being the Lord's vineyard, we got to do our part and get planted back in the foundation, having that seed take root, listening to it, understanding it, as far as it being the word, and then bringing forth other fruit so we can be that choice vine again. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Behold, God will not cast away a perfect man. Neither will he help the evildoers.
Exactly. It says he's not gonna cast away the perfect man. The perfect man is somebody that has integrity, somebody that is upholding what the Most High deems fit to be in his land, which is starting with the laws of God. That's just a basic concept. So give me 1 Corinthians 3:6-9.
Okay.
Lord willing, everybody's enjoying this lesson. There's not that many people on the channel, but like I said, we got a strike on another channel, so YouTube's hating for now. I can't upload no videos, and I can't go live. So we're gonna hopefully get back next week, next Thursday, Lord willing. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 6 through 9. I have
Uh huh.
planted, Apollos watered,
Read.
but God gave the increase.
God get an increase. So Most High sent out the prophets, apostles, teachers to have this understanding in reference to knowing we're Israelites, repenting, keeping the laws of God. A Christian would say, "Oh, Paul taught against the law," but no, it's not what happened. Paul kept the law. He circumcised people, or circumcised him, but he went to the temple, made sacrifices. He didn't go against the law at all. But if they want to say that, whatever, that's on them. But we know Yahushua taught it, and that's our foundation, and that's whose seed we got to take and have it take root in us. Keep reading. But like I
Verse
said,
7.
we'll get an increase. So I said, most I want you to hear it and take hold of it, hear it and see it, as he says that people aren't going to do. The Most High gonna make sure it happens to the people that he wants it to happen to, and recognize the truth. Go ahead.
Verse 7. So then, neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth,
Uh huh.
but God that giveth the increase.
God gives the increase. He waters the plant. He makes sure the spirit's right in it. Which is the people of God, the Israelites. He's gonna make sure he gets a proper understanding, edification, and grow properly into the fruit that's meet for repentance, bringing forth righteous fruit for the people. Go ahead.
Let me see. Oh, verse 8. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor.
Exactly. You're gonna get a reward according to your own labor, whether you edifying people, whether you're building upon a foundation of somebody that's getting from somebody else. It's like this all type of camps. People are in camps that can edify you in certain aspects. Everybody's not built to go out in the streets, but at the same time, there's people that still putting in their own labor as far as teaching our people. But like I said, the Most High gonna get a reward to people that's doing the actual labor as well. We can't knock people that don't want to go out, but at the same time, we know the people that's actually risking their life and going out to the street corners and wherever camp it is, they gonna get that righteous reward of a prophet. Go ahead.
Verse 9. For we are laborers together with God. Ye are
Uh huh.
God's husbandry. Ye
We
are
are
God's
God's
building.
dream. We are God's building. We're the building of the Most High. Building is comparable to, like I said, the garden, the whatever the case may be, as far as the vine, the wine, or whatever, or not the wine, but the vine, uh, uh, all those type of similitudes, a seed, all that type of stuff. Go to Songs of Solomon 7 and 12.
Okay. Songs.
Oh, I already had this up. Jeez, I don't know why I got these things twice. I must have been.
I almost forgot where that book was for a minute. It's so small. I just
Songs of
got to it.
Solomon?
Yeah, I got to it now.
It's in the Old Testament after. I think it's after or before Psalms, I believe.
Yeah, it's right. It's right before Isaiah, between
Oh yeah, after
Ecclesiastes.
Psalms and Proverbs. Yeah. You're right.
You said which one?
7 and 12.
7 and 12. The book of Song of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 12.
Uh huh.
Let us get up early to the vineyards.
Let's
Let
go
us see.
to the vineyards. Talking about what? We're gonna check on our plants and do what?
Let us see if the vine flourish.
Let's see if the vine flourish. So, like I said, somebody watered the plant, or somebody planted the plant or the seed. Somebody watered it, but God's gonna yield the increase. Now we got to go back. Let's just check up on these people. Let's see what's going on with them. Let's see what's going on with the vineyard. Let's see if the vine flourishing. Let's see if it's growing. Let's see if it's bringing forth the good fruit that we want. Go ahead.
Okay. Whether the tender grape appear and the pomegranates bud forth,
Exactly. Go ahead.
there will I give thee my love.
Exactly. So we got to see if the tender grape appear, not the wild grape, the tender grape and the pomegranate bud forth, which is the Most High's favorite plant, which is obviously the lily, pomegranate, symmetry lily. So we got to go back and check on our people. Like, hey, You know about the truth. What you doing with it? People that know about the truth we come to camp. Hey, what you doing? Are you keeping laws yet? That's the main thing. We want you to get this solid fruit, man. We want you to be a tender grape. We don't want you to get hewn down and thrown into the fire as a tree that don't bring forth good fruit, man. That's what we got to check on. We got to know what's going on with our people, and that's why I brought out. We got to know the state of our flocks. That's what it says in Proverbs as well, I believe. But give me Isaiah 61:1.
Okay.
1-3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 1-3. The spirit of Yahweh God is upon me. Because Yahweh hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Exactly. That's our job. Just like Yahushua did, we're doing it in his footsteps. Go ahead.
He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captive.
Read.
And the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Go ahead.
To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh. And the day of vengeance of our God.
Exactly. That's part of the gospel. We're doing that every week in that camp. Trying to bind the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives. Not a physical captivity, but that's what Yahweh is going to do eventually. But we're trying to free our people's minds. Read.
Con. To comfort all that mourn. Verse 3. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. To give unto them beauty for ashes. The oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness.
That we might be called trees of righteousness. So we're still be compared to trees in the gospel. We want to be trees of righteousness, bringing forth good fruit, bringing forth a good grape, like it says, or a budding pomegranate. Read.
The planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified.
Yeah, the planting of Yahweh. We want to be planted by Yahweh to be glorified, being nourished, being put a hedge around it, getting that proper water, the overflow of water, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding, the sunlight, so we can grow, and that soil, that rich soil, so we can be prosperous, man. That's what we want. That's what we want to represent, and bring people to represent as well, to all partake of this good fruit. Go ahead.
That's to 3. Yeah.
Give me Revelation 22 and 1-3. I just went out of the chat. Slakia. All right, you back?
Yeah, Slakia. Revelation chapter 22, verse 1-3. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb.
Exactly, that water of life. Talking about what? The living waters. Living waters compared to the laws of God, which Yahushua said. Read.
Verse 2. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life.
The tree of life. Read.
Which bare 12 manner of fruits.
12 manner of fruits. What's that talking about? The 12 tribes of Israel. 12 manner of fruit, all different type of fruits with one tree. Or excuse me, one it's one tree, the tree of life, talking about the Israelites, being 12 manner of fruits. 12 different type of fruits represent the diversity of the 12 tribes. Read.
And yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
Exactly. That's when we're gonna be a light to the Gentiles, teaching them the laws of God. That's when you get in Isaiah 60 And I think it's Isaiah. What is it? Isaiah 56, where they're gonna take hold of the covenant, not necessarily be in the new covenant, but they're gonna take hold of it by learning from us. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And there shall be no more curse, but the
Yeah,
throne of God and
there's
of
gonna
the
be no
Lamb
more
shall be
curse,
in it.
no more. The earth's not gonna be under the curse. The Israelites gonna be under the curse no more. No more war, no more famine, no more none of that. I mean, the Canaanites gonna be in famine. It says that in Ezekiel. But everybody else is not gonna be in that predicament unless they don't come up to the to keep the laws of God. They're gonna be destroyed, and perish. Go ahead.
And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him.
Yeah, the Most High and His Son go rule the earth. Obviously, the Most High ain't coming out on the earth, but Yahweh is gonna be the king physically on the earth with the Israelites ruling under him. That's what we want. Being His choice vine, being the chosen people that He called to be righteous and holy. We got to get back to that. We want to be gleaming grapes. We want to be the people that are part of that tree of life with the 12 fruits, the various 12 tribes. I'm from the tribe of Simeon. This brother reading is from the tribe of Reuben. You know, but we all 12 tribes combined represent the nation of Israel, the righteous people, the holy fruit that was planted that have to return back to that fashion. That's all I got for the most part. You have something?
Allah, I think you did all this. Yeah, that was actually a good lesson for real, for real.
All praise to the Most High. You know, I could have went deeper, but I was saving that for something else. But let me just bring it out real quick because I wish I'd brought it out on the main channel, but I might do it again maybe later on. But who knows? But this ain't really getting the views it's gonna get. But I might bring it out maybe a month or two just to reconvene and maybe add some more precepts, and it is what it is. But anyways, give me the Sirach 23 and 27. We can close out.
One minute. It's all good. I'll just read it right here. Yeah. Oh, it's right there. Thank you. Sirach chapter 23, verse 27 through 28. And they that remain shall know that there is nothing better than the fear of the Lord,
Go ahead.
and that there is nothing sweeter than to take heed unto the commandments of the Lord.
Plain and simple. All that taking heed of commandments is part of our heritage. But once you want to keep your heritage and represent the living God that chose us, that wants you to keep His laws, that wants to bless you, that's what we ought to do. We want to be blessed, right? After all this rape, murder, and chastisement, keeping the laws of God don't get you there. Go ahead.
It is great glory to follow the Lord, and to be received of Him is long life.
Plain and simple. And that's how we're going to turn to that tree of life. The tree of life is what? Being in a rulership position, not being under oppressed by anybody, ruling under who the world calls Christ, in the kingdom of heaven, which will be on earth in the land of Israel. And we're going to be righteous. Lord willing, will be that number as far as the elect's concerned. But the nation of Israel got to return back to their prominence, be that holy and righteous seed that was planted and set into that noble vine. Like I said before, all this is just what we want as far as our people to bring forth good fruit. So we don't want to be hewn down and tossed into a fire, which is a lake of fire. But somebody got to play that role, or we don't have to do that. Excuse me. But we don't want to teaching our people. Well, yeah, I wish I taught teaching people to keep the law and teach it so we can be the greatest in the kingdom. But did you have anything you want to add anything before we close out? Horizon one?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, I was saying, yeah, I pretty much think you hit all the points. Just once our people start keeping keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, we'll be right back where we need to be. But until then, we always gonna be in this this low place, this valley. So yeah, it's all about keeping the commandments and doing what the Most High want us to do, so we can get back in our rightful position on top.
Facts. Well, like I said, ain't nobody in here, nobody gonna answer questions, so we'll close out. Give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shin Hamashiach Yahushai, and say Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.